Hello and welcome back to the couch. We saved you a seat. My name is Luke, and today we're going to be discussing and reviewing episode 4 of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. This is an excellent episode, and we're just going to be talking about things we liked, things we didn't like, and what we expect in the future. So, just to jump it off, the first half of this episode is not nearly as good as the second half of this episode. The second half of this episode is so meaty and filled with tension and suspense, and the first half is just table setting. And so that's just how that is right now. And so we're going to just jump in. So Peter's doing a presentation in Oscorp. He's not good at it. You see Dr. Connors there and the rest of the interns. They're just kind of laughing at Peter, and he gets called up to the principal's office. He gets called up to Norman's office, and he walks into Norman's office. But just before that, he meets Harry, and Harry's sitting there, and Harry, not sitting there. He meets Harry, crosses paths with Harry, and there's a couple of excellent MCU or universe references here. There's pictures on the wall of Norman with Captain America and Norman with, I think, the leader of Wakanda. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. And then he talks to Harry for a second, and he walks into Norman's office, and Norman talks about the Sokovia Accords. And then other parts of this episode, they reference things that have happened pre-Civil War Avengers. So that's pretty interesting. And so some dialogue happens, but essentially Norman wants to make Peter a suit that's better than the suit that he has, with a bunch of enhancements. And so Peter is confronted with Norman about the first suit, and the first suit looks a lot like, he mentions it looks a lot like Thor. I think it looks a little bit like Mysterio too. It also looks a little bit like Loki's suit in Marvel Rivals, and it also looks a little bit like Norman's Goblin suit. So we'll see who it is and what it is, but it's kind of gaudy. It's got a big cape on it. And that is what ends up getting him out of the suit first. Peter goes out with the new suit on, and he stands there like, the Saiyan man from Dragon Ball Z. And he gets caught up in his own cape and loses to a couple of robbers, which stinks. And so that was a no-go. But the next thing that happens is the perspective switches to Lonnie. Now, Lonnie is my favorite character in the show so far. And he's already been through some not so great things with his family and with what's happening. And he confronts Pearl outside the school, and he hands her a flower, says, "I'm sorry for not being super communicative and not being there for you." And she's like, "No, I want to be there for you." And of course he's like, "I'm too embarrassed. I need to be there for you." Man stuff. I get it. But it's high school drama. It is what it is. That's what's happening. And so he can't hang out with her after school, even though she offers. And that's when the perspective switches back to Norman's office. And in Norman's office, he tries the second suit. And the second suit is this like bumblebee wasp purple suit that's kind of gaudy, and it doesn't really work. And of course he ixnays that. He actually lands against a windshield, which is, great slapstick, haha, funny stuff. And then we see Lonnie in the gang hangout. I'm telling you, the first 10 minutes, just its perspective changes back and forth and back and forth. And he's in the gang hangout, and Lonnie doesn't want to be there, and he's studying. And finally, the gang leader is like, "Look, if no one's doing anything, I need you to go over to this restaurant and pick up some food. All right, that's your job today." And he goes and does it. He just leaves. And then we see Peter try his third suit, and the third suit is Peter in this all-black Batman style suit. He looks kind of menacing. He's got claws, and of course, he makes a little girl cry. And he's like, "Yeah, we're not doing that, dude." In his own Spider-Man way, we're not doing that. And so he finally leaves. He finally goes back to Osborn, and it's a no-go. It's a no-go. And then the perspective changes back to Lonnie. Now, this is where the cool part happens. Okay, this is where the episode starts getting pretty good. Lonnie's walking into a restaurant, and he goes to order food, and the restaurateur says, "Who's this for? Who's the order for?" And he says, "The gang leader." Everyone in the restaurant turns and looks. He's definitely in another territory. He shouldn't be in. getting food from a restaurant he shouldn't be getting food from. And so Lonnie keeps his cool. Love Lonnie. Keeps his cool. Grabs the bag, walks out, and he makes it out of the door. And then he's walking down the street. And he looks over his shoulder, and someone's following him. So he just takes off running. And thankfully, he makes it to the subway while the door's closing so that person can't get to him. But yeah, that's what's happened here. So now we're gonna get to Lonnie gets back to the gang house, and he's like, "Hey, you sent me to here, and that was dangerous." And the gang leader's like, "Look, bud, if we weren't here, it would be way more dangerous. We are protecting you, but like in a really trashy gang way." So I feel bad for Lonnie because he's like kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. But this is where the reference to Matt Gargan is. This is where the reference to the tracksuits is, which are both gang things, which are pretty interesting. But yeah, this is where this is. And so Lonnie's kind of stuck now. He's got NFL prospects and he's at this really nice school on the other side of town, but he's stuck in a gang war that's about to pop off. At least I think so. But then we get back to Spider-Man, and he's with Norman, and Norman's like, "My bad. Those suits weren't for you. This suit is for you. Check it out." And it's this really cool white and blue suit. It's reminiscent, I guess, of one from the original one of the comic books of Fantastic Four. But Spider-Man is full display in this suit. He can do all the things he wants to do. He can save people, he can whatever. So he's out on patrol, trying to help people, trying out his new suit. And these robbers are stealing a bunch of stuff, trying to take money to an inventor. Who's the inventor? Don't know yet. But they're trying to take money from them, and they cause this massive car pileup. Before that, by the way, there's some really kind of fun slapstick comedy that's happening while they're being chased by the cops. It's pretty fun. But they cause this massive car pileup, and Peter's looking at the car pileup and looking at them, and he's like, "I got to save the people." So he saves all the people in the car pileup, and they all appreciate him, and they're all very friendly to him because he's not in these crazy, weird suits. He's in this really nice white and blue suit. And so there's a lot of appreciation here, and Peter likes that. But then we cut back to the robbers, and they're trying to escape, and they get cornered, and one of them jumps out of the back of the van and takes off, saying, "I'll come back for you," or whatever. And you're like, "Ooh, is she going to the inventor? Like, what's happening here?" The perspective cuts back to Peter, and he swings into Norman's office, and he just opens the window and he blurts out, "Oh, this suit is so cool." He takes off his thing, and Harry's sitting there. It's like, dang. Now both Harry and Norman know who the guy is. So we'll see. That's not great. Kind of could have used spider sense there. The perspective switches back to that one robber who got away, and she knocks on a door, and it opens, and there stands Dr. Octavius. I assume it's Dr. Octavius, and he's wearing a coat with the emblem from the other gear from the previous episode. So he apparently is the person who's made this gear, which is cool. I like that. So that's where we left it off. That's the cliffhanger. Another note is that we do get to see the traditional standard Spider-Man uniform. When is talking to Norman, he's like, "I've got some ideas," and he pulls up a notebook, and it's drawn there, which is it harkens back to other Spider-Man lore that we all know and love. So I love that. But I'm going to go ahead and throw episode 5 on right now, and then a review will come out right after that. And outside of that, I hope you continue to visit the couch, stay on the couch. We've always got a seat for you, and we'll see you next time on another review or reaction or, in the live show. So take care. Have a good one.